Regina. Oh, and just started the recording. I'll move it over to Regina Anderson, our host for the virtual graduation. Woohoo!
All right, thank you so much, Cassie, and welcome everyone. Huge congratulations to our graduating leaders. I'm so thankful to be here with everyone today and to spend time with all of our amazing speakers. I know that they have so much that they want to say to you with well wishes for the next chapter in your lives. Before I dig in too much, I wanted to say a few things before we all get started. And the first is I wanted to do a land recognition. Yeah, I'm here in Washington, D.C., very close to where Cassie is, across the river. And the people who inhabited the land that we're on is the Piscataway people. And just wanted to give space and place to the stewards of the land in which we all live here in this area. And I invite everyone, if you haven't done so already, to maybe think about looking into the people who inhabited and probably continue to inhabit the lands in which all of you live too. FRN stands with our Asian brothers and sisters. We do not tolerate hate of any kind. And I know that there is a lot of hardship happening within our Asian community, and wanted to honor and recognize that, and that FRN lends our love and support to our Asian community. We do not tolerate anti-Asian hate. Today is also the anniversary of the murder of Mr. George Floyd. And here at FRN, we believe that Black Lives Matter, and we stand in the corner of those fighting for equality for the Black community, and those who support the Black community, and those who support our Asian community, and those who support love, and those who support equality for all. But we believe that Black Lives Matter, and that is aspirational, as long as we have to continue to say things like Black Lives Matter, and as long as we have to continue to say we don't tolerate hate or anti-Asian hate. We're being aspirational, and we know that there's a lot of work to be done in that regard. And I'm just personally so thankful for all the activists all around the world who are working to further build equality and meaningful equality for everyone on this earth. And then, you know, I think about the equity that we are building here at Food Recovery Network. You know, everyone who's graduating today and all of our guests here, you know, we believe that food is a right. And when we are out in our communities and we're recovering surplus food, this precious, precious food, and giving it to our neighbors in need, knowing that any one of us could be in those shoes of need, we are working towards equality, and we will continue to fight for equality. And so personally, I just wanted to thank everyone for being part of that movement and that mission to make sure people have the food that they deserve, so that they can go on and have the energy that they need to live fulfilling lives, you know, whether that be to further their education, get job training, look for housing, look for more education for their students or for their children. A meal really can be that fuel, literally and figuratively, for people who are just trying to make their ends meet. So really, when we think about equality, the work that everyone is doing here at Food Recovery Network really is part of that so important network to make things better for everyone around. And I will say, you know, more things as we move throughout our time together. But as I mentioned, I do know that our three invited speakers have a lot that they want to share with all of you. And I know that the three speakers also share in our excitement and joy and hope for all of you who are graduating in the next couple of weeks. Maybe you've already graduated, but there's a lot to look forward to. You know, I know we fight for things that we believe should be here already, and we need to fortify ourselves. And part of fortifying ourselves is celebration. and joy and happiness. And though we do really hard work, it is so important that we take time together to celebrate and to recognize and to honor. And so that's what I'm bringing forward today for all of you who work so hard during an unprecedented 14 months, 15 months, 16 months, and even beyond that. So thank you all for your time, and thank you all for the hard work that you put in every single day for yourselves and for Food Recovery Network. So it is my distinct honor to introduce our first speaker, Akil Seguro. I was practicing Akil's name earlier, so that's why I'm laughing a little bit. And please correct me if I did not say that correctly. But so thankful for Akil to be with us today. And just background on Akil. Akil is a graduating senior from Case Western University. Woohoo! Akil is originally from Plainsboro, New Jersey, and he majored in chemical biology. So he's receiving his degree in chemical biology, and he's also pursuing a master's in healthcare management. So important when we think about food as health. Super cool, Akil. Akil has also been involved with FRN since his freshman year and served in a partner agency coordinator role in his freshman year, his sophomore year, and his senior years. And he also served as president of his FRN chapter during his junior year. Wow. Thank you so much, Akil, for spending your time with us today. And thank you for the words that you're about to share with all of our graduating FRN leaders and everyone else joining us.
Thanks, Regina, for that kind introduction. Welcome all. My name is Akil Seguro, and I'm a former president of the Food Recovery Network chapter at Case Western Reserve University. Real quick, I wanted to thank my parents, my sister, my advisor, and friends who became my family away from home, including roommates, past and present, several of my fraternity brothers, several Case FRN alumni, and other close friends for coming to support me today, as they all either directly or indirectly contributed to my time with FRN. A little about my journey of how I became involved in fighting food wastage and insecurity. Ever since I was little, my parents drilled it into my head to try to not even waste a single grain of rice. I never thought much of it until I came to college and saw how much food was wasted at the dining halls. I joined FRN soon after and have been here since. Back home, I had volunteered at soup kitchens many times, but I was never given the opportunity to fight these issues the way I was able to with FRN. The fact that mere students could be in charge of redistributing massive quantities of food from colleges and sometimes even local restaurants is quite the feat. All that food was safe to eat, but would be thrown away if no one bought them. With the hard work of many of you present, Food Recovery Network was able to have these food sources, avoid discarding meals, and instead making sure it goes to a stomach in need, not just with my chapter, but all across the nation. The cause this organization stands for has become a part of me, and I wish to carry it beyond graduation. I wanted to share part of my experience that I think captures what FRN is about. At Case Western's FRN chapter, our main partner agency is the soup kitchen that functions within a church and is about a 5-minute drive from campus. My chapter would visit 3 Saturdays of each month in the morning to come and help out. We would bring some of the grab-and-go type meals we recovered from the university, followed by assisting the soup kitchen volunteers from the church throughout in both the preparation and serving of hot meals. This way we can help mouths be fed in the future too, as those who visited could bring the grab-and-go meals back home for later meals or share with family members. At one point, our chapter was able to buy an industrial fridge for the soup kitchen from funds raised through Greek Life. When COVID hit, we supported them with face shields and a plexiglass barrier that they could serve through. Thanks to some of the alumni present, many of whom have gone on to graduate schools or jobs and continued food recovery efforts, I was able to learn to transition from an intruder in that space to becoming a part of it. The person that runs this soup kitchen is this grandma who has the kindest soul, but is yet a rock for that community as everyone looks up to her. Initially, I barely knew her, but she soon knew me on a first name basis, told me all about her family, and showed pictures of them. Later on, she would occasionally call me, not even with anything food related, but just to check up on me. From all of this, I learned that even though FRN is primarily focused on fighting waste and feeding people, it is so much more than that. FRN is about trying to integrate with who we are trying to help and form real connections. FRN is about the friendships made that will last a lifetime. FRN shows you that if you take care of others, they will return the favor. FRN is about the character that many of you have formed by giving up a portion of your evenings and even Saturday mornings to fight for this cause. FRN is about the conviction developed that allows alumni to keep contributing. FRN is about the grit and perseverance that many of you have when Plan A fails, including restructuring your operations during COVID. This pandemic has been difficult for all of us, and it has only heightened the issue of food insecurity in the US. With the tireless efforts of the 172 FRN chapters, we each were able to combat this in our own little sliver of the country, and as a result recovered 1.04 million pounds of food in 2020. To those there next year, we pass the torch and laud you on all you will accomplish. To all of us graduating, congratulations, we've earned it. As we move forward into our next chapter in life, don't forget what we've accomplished in our time here. Cherish the memories you made, take a step back, and appreciate it all. It's amazing that despite the careers we may end up in being so vast, we can still be united in carrying on the FRN mission beyond graduation and staying selfless. I would like to end with a quote from Muhammad Ali that I believe demonstrates the spirit of FRN. Service to others is the rent you pay for your room here on earth. Thank you.
Ooh, I think I need a minute. Akil, thank you so much. I knew that I was going to tear up, and here we go. So thank you for those inspiring words. And Akil, what you were saying really brought to my mind a quote from one of my favorite people, Abraham Lincoln, who went through some very complex, difficult challenges. As we think about next month is Juneteenth. And Abraham Lincoln said, the better part of one's life consists of their friendships. And so your words really reminded me of that when we think about the people who supported you in your graduation and the people who make up our FRN chapters, our network, our friends. Well, with that, it is again my distinct honor to introduce our next speaker, Miss Madeira Sherwood. And so I just wanted to introduce Madeira, sorry, excuse me. See, get so, but please everyone, please feel free to correct me, but Madeira Sherwood. And so by way of introduction, Madeira just graduated this spring from Olivet Nazarene University with a double major in accounting and business administration and a minor in Spanish. So if anybody follows our chapters on Instagram, Madeira is a very familiar face. I just loved watching the Olivet Nazarene FRN Instagram. It's just so many wonderful stories and pieces of content. So Madeira was a part of the team that established their FRN chapter at Olivet her freshman year and has had the privilege of leading her chapter for the past 3 years. Madeira also conducted a 2-year independent research project in which she created a complete model of her FRN chapter to strengthen Olivet's chapter and help other chapter leaders as well. So incredibly important. When we think about the ties that bind us all together, what does it really mean to help infuse best practices onto others? So Madeira, thank you so much for the time that you've put in. Congratulations on your achievements. And thank you for the words that you're going to share with everyone listening in today.
Yeah, thank you for that introduction. I am excited to share with all of you today. FRN and being a part of it has been the highlight of my college career, like I'm sure many of you can say as well. It is something that obviously we've all chosen to do because we have this passion to help others and to help to transform the communities that we're a part of, to meet these needs that are so unfortunately present everywhere. And I think it's really special that we've all been able to use our college time instead of just being self-focused. And I commend all of you for stepping out and choosing to serve others and to meet these needs in your community. I'll start by just talking about my chapter a little bit. At Olivet Nazarene University, we have a food insecurity rate that's slightly above the average rate for the United States and for Illinois. It definitely is not the worst area in Illinois. I know there are communities that have it much worse than we do, but we've been very passionate about making this change. Like Regina said, I was a part of the team that established our chapter my freshman year. So I'm going to dive in a little bit on why I decided to join. I have always been a person, like Akil said, to not waste food and knowing that that's important. However, I never really had done much about it. I had kind of had my own actions, but I never did much outside of my own house to meet those needs and to help fight food insecurity and food waste in my community. And so going to college, like Akil said, I saw how much food was being thrown away. But really, first and foremost, I didn't want to be the college student to go to classes and go back to my dorm and hang out with friends, and that was it. I felt very passionate about making this new community that I was going to be a part of for the next 4 years my community, and trying to find ways to meet needs during my time at Olivet and making it even greater than it could be just by going to classes. So that's kind of the scale of our chapter, why I joined. We have a great volunteer team of about 40 volunteers per semester. So that's been really incredible to work with them. And I know that we couldn't be where we are without them today. So I just wanted to give them a shout out as well. I want to kind of jump in by talking about my experience and giving advice to current members. I know that not all of us on the call today or that will be seeing this video are graduating. And I want to give some advice. I know that we could all probably share words of wisdom through our time leading a chapter. It's something that is not easy, and we're going to face setbacks along the way. And I think it's really special that we get to have this national network that has been provided with us fighting this need for the Food Recovery Network. So first, my advice would be to not get caught up in the details. I think it's really easy to, when you're in leadership, just see the things that aren't going right. And the things that have always helped me are to step back and to see the impact that food is still being recovered and meals are still being donated, and something far greater than ourselves is happening even through the hours that we're spending on it each week. The impact of the food being donated and the food not being wasted is something that we will never really see the full effect of. So I want to encourage all of you in that the things that you're doing are only going to be multiplied, and the impact is only greater than what you can see. So keep pushing on and be hoping for, a better and a greater year next year, even than you might have had this year. I also would encourage you to find ways to grow and to meet new needs in your community. That's something that my chapter has been passionate about, whether that is raising awareness on your campus or teaching nutrition or finance classes to those who are receiving the food. We're very passionate about equipping others with what they need for success. And obviously, we're all very passionate about that as well, because food is one of those, basic necessities that you need in order to move forward in life. And so I commend all of you for meeting those needs, but I also encourage you to find other ways to meet needs in your community through your partner agency and those that are receiving your food, to help them grow even further beyond their circumstances. I, like Regina said, created a model for other universities to follow, because it's easy to feel alone. So I think this network is really amazing that we can all lean on each other. So I encourage you to reach out to other chapters and learn what works best for them and see how you can mimic that. My model's out there too. If anyone, ever finds that to be helpful, that would be great. I also just want to give a charge to our graduates, because that's really why we're here today. I want to congratulate you, like I said, for using your time through college to serve others and to meet these needs in your community. I would encourage you, as we all step out, we're not really having a at least for me, I'm not moving on to grad school at this moment. So I won't be on a campus environment. And I think it's easy to kind of sink into whatever new community you go to and just try to get used to, this real adult life. And I encourage you to find ways to serve in your community. One of the most special things about being a part of the Food Recovery Network is working with other volunteers that I probably would not have known otherwise, and seeing how we've all chosen to create this habit of service. So recovering food each week and meeting these needs in your community, we all have this habit of going in and working to make our community a better place. So I encourage you to hold on to that habit and to find ways that you can exercise that in the communities that you're going to be a part of in the future, wherever you may be heading after graduation, that you continue to find ways to make that community a better place as well. There are so many students that are involved in the Food Recovery Network, and I really love the visual of all of our FRN participants and leaders spreading out to even more communities around the country or around the world. And we'll have in the future, I think, all of these FRN fingerprints that are all over communities and only enhancing things to be better. So I'm really excited to see how all of us are going to go in and make a difference in our communities. And finally, I just encourage you to always be passionate about serving others and making a difference. Being a part of a movement like this in college is really exciting, but it's intimidating because I think there's this expectation that we continue that. And so I just encourage you that, we're all together in this, and that I'm encouraging you as you move forward. And I would, I guess, just give you a charge to always be passionate about others and finding needs and seeing needs in your community, and then finding applicable ways to meet those needs.
Oh, Madeira, thank you so much. Thank you for those amazing words. And when you were talking about, some of the challenges that we face and, the model that you put forward to help everyone, that really reminded me of a quote that maybe some of you have heard by Zora Neale Hurston, one of my personal favorites. And she says, there are some years that ask questions and some years that answer. And I think, when we are in pursuit of trying to do the right thing, as Madeira said, it might feel like we're seeing more of the problems than we are seeing some of the solutions, but know that our activities are reverberating across the country, really, truly. And, once people know what we're about, they never unsee that. And that's part of the change that we're going for. So thank you so much for that inspirational, commentary on, what it means to be involved with Food Recovery Network. So I wanted to share a couple of more ways for folks to be involved, whether you're a current student, or if you're a graduating leader, or if you want to tell your friends about it, especially folks that maybe aren't within a particular FRN chapter. There's 5,400 higher education institutions in this country, and all of them should have a recovery effort in place, and we can help. But I also wanted to let everyone know, especially for those of you who are graduating and want to stay involved. I mean, if you've been doing recoveries throughout your time at school, you can still join our Student and Alumni Advisory Board. We'll share with all of you ways that you can apply to put your name in the hat for that particular post. It's an amazing group of people, and they really do help support FRN in our content building, in our programming. And so please consider yourself, in a different kind of leadership capacity by considering our Student and Alumni Advisory Board. Our newsletter is there for all of you, for our students and our alums alike. So, I know a lot of us are bombarded with lots of newsletters, but, check it out. We keep the content short, so you can read it while you're, drinking your coffee or tea. And it's really important stuff to help strengthen your chapters, or to, be involved even after you graduate. I definitely want to invite all of you to share your stories. I know that we only hear a fraction of what everyone is doing across the country in this movement. We want the pictures, we want to hear the content, because again, that's going to reverberate and inspire others to do the right thing with their surplus food. So please, be in touch with us. You can email Cassie, you can email me, you can go to our website. There's lots of ways to be involved. You can contact us on social media, Instagram. We're not on TikTok yet, but we really do want to hear your stories and make sure that others can see the amazing work that you're doing. And then also, you know, with our strategic framework, I definitely want to make sure that everyone understands, you know, the work that we're doing at a more detailed level, and how all of your chapters, all of your recovery efforts really do tie into this strategic framework that we're calling FRN 10X. And that is, how are we going to exponentially expand the work of FRN in the next 10 years? So about 4,000 people any given year are involved. We want to make that 40,000 people. We want to make that 400,000 people, 4 million people, 40 million people. We all have a place in this work to course correct how we think about food, how we think about people who don't have enough, and how we think about our environment. It's all connected. So with that, again, my distinct pleasure and honor to introduce our keynote speaker, Mr. Tony Hillery, an amazing human being I've known for several years now. I'm so excited that Tony was able to talk with all of us today and share his words. And please know that while we wanted to, you know, we know everyone is really busy. It is graduation season. Tony is speaking with us for a little while, but we are working to have an expanded conversation with Tony for everyone that we will share as soon as that's available. So something to look forward to, among many things to look forward to. But way of introduction, I just wanted to give some background on Tony. So Tony is the founder and executive director of Harlem Grown. And Harlem Grown is a nonprofit with the mission of bringing urban agriculture and youth gardening programs to Harlem residents. It's an incredible nonprofit. If you haven't heard of them, I definitely recommend looking them up after this event. It's an incredible, incredible nonprofit. Over the past 4 years, Tony has established a high impact program for young children in Harlem to learn about gardening, healthy living, and food justice. Prior, in addition to Harlem Grown, Tony has owned and managed his limousine business, TZR Transportation, for the past 15 years. And with that, I'll turn things over to Tony to share in our congratulations and celebration to all of our graduating leaders and their families and the support networks that made this day possible. Thanks so much, Tony. And oh, there we
That
go.
happens all the time in the Zoom world. I'm sorry. Thank you so much for having me. And I have to correct you that I am the accidental founder and executive director at Harlem Grown. This whole thing has been an accident. It wasn't planned. Sometimes the best things happen just when you do something. But first, I got to congratulate you guys. You guys should be giving me the talk. You inspire me. You are the fuel that drives not just Harlem Grown, but every nonprofit. That's the college graduate students that care more about themselves and more about the world at large. And you guys hold the key to all of the ills in this world. I know that's a heavy statement, but it is true. I got you guys by decades, and I wish I was where you are right now when I was your age, but I found out everything I'm going to share with you much later on in life, hence the accident. But I just got to really thank you guys for all you've done, but more importantly, all you will do. I think it's a safe bet to think, I know how it is. I have kids older than you. I know the pressure you have from home, your parents, your community, your guidance counselor, be a doctor, be a lawyer, and we're fixated on this thing, such tunnel vision. And I think it's safe to say that no one in this chat went to school thinking that they would ever be related with food recovery. You went there, you saw something, it moved you. More importantly, you took the initiative to do something about it. That's what your organization, my organization, all organizations are based on that. I wouldn't even have an organization if it wasn't for similar people like yourselves, young people who identify something and are moved so strongly that they want to figure out how to change it. It's a lot. I mean, we're just coming through a once in a lifetime, let's hope, many lifetime pandemic that shined a bright light on all the social ills that I've been screaming about for the last decade at the top of my lungs. When I met Regina, it must have been 5, 6 years ago. Like most, they look at me and like, this guy's crazy. I'm not crazy. I was just filled with rage and confusion that in the richest city, I mean, the richest country in the world, in the greatest democracy in the world, we have such inequity. It's just beyond bizarre. And I think, I can be honest, I grew up very privileged. It was all new to me. Poverty, in my opinion, was always this lack of money. I never understood all these structural barriers that are put in people's way that kind of keep you there, no matter how hard you try. And I stumbled into an elementary school in Central Harlem one day. Honestly, I was killing time. I went to volunteer and I met some children. And it changed my life, literally. 10 years ago, those kids are still with me today. And I had this weird, call it an audacious notion that any child can succeed given equal access and opportunity. Sounds pretty bizarre, doesn't it? I didn't think so. So I'm going to this school. We all know the statistics in communities such as Central Harlem, where I work. I don't regurgitate numbers because I don't work with numbers, I work with people. So you meet these children who look just like my children. Same crazy questions, same crazy sense of humor, same lofty ambitions, and the same. The only thing different was the zip code. And all of the inequities that are built into certain areas in our society. And I just kept coming back because no never was no to me. It always meant maybe. And I met these children who, honestly, when I go home, I mean, you guys go home, and when your dad is there, you're like, oh, dad's home. But when I go to work, I'm Mr. Tony. I'm like the president of the United States when I walk into Harlem. And it's like amazing. I'm not buying anybody anything. I'm not giving anybody anything. I just show up. And they hang on to everything I say and everything I do. And that was the origins of Harlem Grown. There wasn't rocket science. There wasn't all of these quantitative data that is thought out and planned out. It was just me showing up. And fast forward 10 years later, the 4th and 5th graders in that school, we have about a dozen first generation and 4-year universities such as yourself. That's what we hang our hat on, all through the lens of food justice. I know it sounds very convoluted, it is, but to go into communities that I'm not from, nor do I live, it's very hard to be accepted and looked at as a true ally instead of a conqueror or a teacher or another administrator or another disciplinarian. Communities such as where I work, they're inundated with that from birth. You have one intended nonprofit or after another coming in, going out, coming in, going out. There's no consistency. So I became this consistent person for these kids. And I tell you, it's changed my life. And in the still of night, sometimes to this day, I think back of my wasted years. Because when I was your age, I thought about one thing, me. It was all about me. What's in it for me? I didn't get this until way later in life. And that's my only regret. And since I've been in Harlem Grown, we work with some of the most amazing young people, younger than you. We had a 10-year-old girl who came on Martin Luther King Day in February for a day of service. turned around and told her mother she did not want a birthday party in May. She wanted a donation made to Harlem Grown and all of her 10-year-old friends to come to a day of service at Harlem Grown on our farm. That is the fuel to my fire. That is the answer to all of our problems. 10 years old, it was still all about me and my cartoons on Saturday and Captain Crunch. That's all I wanted. But she wants to be out on my farm in the blazing heat in Central Harlem, digging in the dirt, picking up trash. That is the change we all seek. And I just have to say, I thank you guys so much. This kind of work doesn't just happen, as you saw. Whatever the social ills that we're fighting, you guys go in there and you saw something, you roll up your sleeves and you did something. That is all we can do, but that is everything. I have a quote from Max Lucado on my signature that no one can do everything, but everyone can do something. And you guys are proof positive of that. And to that, I salute you. And I'm sure I never met you personally. That's the one thing I do hate about this COVID pandemic, that human beings are social creatures. I'm a hugger. I have to be in this Zoom thing. But I hope to cross paths with you later on in your lives and your careers, because I'm sure you guys are going on to some really great things that you haven't even thought about yet. And I'm just glad to be in your company, although virtually. And again, I applaud you. And thank you so much for the warm introduction, Regina. You guys, please look me up. If you ever find yourself in New York City, reach out to me anytime. You would get a tour. It will be the best 45 minutes to an hour you've ever spent. We get that all the time. You will not believe the work we do. But just remember one thing as I close, I'm only the storyteller. The children that I work with, they're the story. You will see what I'm talking about. It is transformative of us as human beings, how we can overlook certain sectors of our society with not even realizing what we're doing. But then when we get that chance to kind of pause and see people for who they are, it's a very eye-opening experience. So I implore anyone ever in the city or any kind of trip, just Google Harlem Grown. You could always reach me. I'm always available. We're there 7 days a week. So please come up and see, and you'll see what I'm saying. And again, thank you guys. I'll be watching you for the rest of your careers. So I'll be following everybody. So please follow us on social media. If you find yourself in the city, come up. And again, thank you. Thank you so much.
Oh, Tony, thank you. Thanks for your inspiring words. You know, what Tony shared with all of us reminds me of, I had a conversation with our board president, Prateet Spencer, and a fellow in the fight for equality, Leonisa Johnson. And Leonisa is the program manager for an organization called Edible Schoolyard New York City, or Edible Schoolyard NYC, not too far from where Tony is. And, you know, one of the things she said in her conversation was, which I really think Tony exemplifies, is, you know, when we go into communities where maybe we're not from, or, you know, we didn't grow up there, we didn't go to school there, but when we think about authentically helping communities, you know, because we see the need, is thinking about, you know, what is already working for those communities, and not just assuming we're here to help you as if nothing is already in place, but how can we support the structures that have already been built, and to make those supports stronger as we also continue together to bring in more resources. And Tony is absolutely doing that with the young people who are part of Harlem Grown. And, you know, they're our future everything. And as are all of you embarking on this really cool moment in time. It's such a fascinating moment in time. I remember when I graduated from undergrad, and I was so, I think, in shock about what just happened. You know, you're just like, did I pass that last class? Did I put in that last report? Did I, there's so many things, and then parents are coming in, and you know, it's a blur, and it's a beautiful blur. And you know, as we think about what are the kinds of next steps do we want to take, you know, what kind of jobs do we want? And I agree with Tony. We're in your corner. We're here to help. We're here to, you know, maybe shine lights on different areas of work that maybe you haven't heard about before. But as Tony said, we know that you're gonna forge your own ways. There's gonna be so many cool new job creations because of all of you who are graduating. There's so much connection happening, and we're here for all of it. We really, really are. And so I'm just so happy for all of you, really, truly. And I do hope that you continue to be in touch with Food Recovery Network over the course of the next many, many, many years, you know, until we don't need FRN anymore, until recovery programs are just commonplace, until people have enough food to eat. You know, let's make FRN obsolete.
Yeah.
So in the last few moments that we have together, and again, just big hugs. I know we are in these little boxes, but I can feel the energy. Big hugs to everybody. I again just wanted to thank Akil and Madeira for your time. Thank you, Tony, so much for all of your contributions and your thinking, and just putting that out to people. Just thank you so much.
Thank you.
I wanted to thank Cassie for organizing all of this and, you know, making sure that everything was in place. These kinds of multi-moving pieces, events happen so smoothly because of, you know, Cassie on the team. So thank you so much for that. I also wanted to thank the full FRN team that's listening in today and just in all of your corners. Thank you all so much. I have the honor and the privilege of working with this incredible team every single day. I'm so wowed by what everyone is able to accomplish within a workday. And that's when you care so deeply about what you're doing. You know, it's not a job, it's a way of life. And I really feel that with everyone at the FRN national team. So thank you all for everything that you contribute. I again wanted to mention that we will have a longer conversation with Tony. Please become familiar with Harlem Grown. He really means it. He is available. I think we all have 24 hours in the day. Somehow Tony has 32 hours in any one day. I don't think he sleeps, but please do, you know, take that tour and get to know Harlem Grown because it's just an incredible organization. Also, I wanted to announce the winner of our giveaway, and so which is super exciting. So I wanted to thank, congratulate Stephen Timothy for you won the giveaway, which is so exciting. I personally love the FRN swag. So if you have an opportunity once you receive it in the mail, send us some photos of what you've received. We'd love to continue to celebrate, because that's what this is all about. And you know, again, what this is all about, what this movement is all about, is making sure that we give honor to the precious food that our farmers are growing, that all of you are growing. I know there's 23 million people who grow herbs and vegetables and fruit, you know, in their backyards, on their windowsills. That we give honor to that precious, precious food, that we give honor to the people who transport that food, that farmed the food, that picked the food, who prepare the foods, you know, all those amazing people in your dining halls that work every day so hard, even outside of the pandemic, in the pandemic, to make sure that that precious food is then transformed into these beautiful, beautiful meals, that we give honor to that food. And when we give honor to the food that we grow, that we transport, that we cook, and that we prepare, we are connecting to our humanity. We are connecting to nature. And that is so important. And every time you do a recovery, truly you are connecting to that humanity, connecting to that equality. And that's really what's going to help us through this pandemic. You know, it was hard times before. Through this pandemic, you know, when we think about what does a just and equitable food system look like? What does it look like? We haven't seen it all the way yet, but all of you working here at FRN, you're volunteering your time. I know the founders of FRN, many of them, they took an extra year to get through school so that they can continue to build and shape FRN. So much time that you're putting in because you know that we can do this, that we can build together a system, a structure that works for everyone. We can feed everyone in this country. We have the resources to do that. We have the brain power to do that. And everyone here, you have the will to do that. And we say, this is what we want. And those are our marching orders. That's what I'm doing every day when I'm here at FRN. And I'm just so thankful to be able to do that in connection with all of you, arm in arm, virtually and sometimes otherwise. So I know many of you are going off into this next chapter, as we said, but it doesn't stop there. And FRN really, truly cares about each and every one of you as individuals, which is why we've said so many times, you know, please be in touch. Don't forget about us. We're not going to forget about you. We're here to help, because when we think about building structures that work for everybody, you know, when we think about what that means, the work that we do today, it might look differently even a week from now, 3 weeks from now, 3 years from now. So we have to, you know, really stay in communication with one another, share those best practices to make sure that we are doing the right thing every single day so that people have the food that they deserve. It's a right. So our graduating leaders, congratulations. Thank you all for your time. Madeira, Akil, congratulations to you. Good luck to both of you in your next steps. And again, everyone, thank you for your time. And we will see you later on. It's not a goodbye, but a see you later, a good luck, and so much love and peace to everyone. Thank you for all that you do for FRN. Bye, everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you all.
So much love.